On August 29, 2005, Hurricane Katrina changed our parish and our lives forever. Do not worry and be of good cheer, though. With God's help and by helping each other, we can restore Plaquemines Parish and our lives to a place that is better than ever before. Ready or not, we are experiencing life under construction.
Hello, I'm Jim Woodard. I want to welcome you to this night's segment of Life Under Construction at the Crossroads. I know you're like me. You notice a lot of construction going on in our community, and we wanted to just take a few weeks and talk about what it means to have a life that's under construction spiritually. Some of the principles that come out of God's Word that show us how to build on a good foundation and add those principles and precepts that allow us to live godly lives. So we're glad you joined us tonight for this segment of Life Under Construction. We want to welcome you to week number 8, the final week of Life Under Construction here at the Crossroads. We've been talking for the last 7 weeks, and we're going to finalize tonight, about the idea of when a storm happens in your life. And we all have storms in our lives. We all come to a crossroads in life where something has happened that we didn't have control over. Something's happened that has put a lot of stress in our lives, that has taken us out of our normal routine. And so we need to do some construction in our life. We need to do maybe some physical reconstruction in our life. Something happens to our body and we have to get it repaired. We have to get healed. Maybe something happens to us emotionally in some kind of a relationship that breaks up, or in something in our life, and we have to get emotionally repaired in that. Maybe something happens to us spiritually. Something happens to our faith, and we question what's going on in our faith life, and so there needs to be this period of construction. So we've been talking about that for the last several weeks, and tonight we're going to wrap that up. And we went to the book of one of the books in Peter to find out what he had to say about this construction process, because he gave us a formula, and I want to take you to that tonight, and we're going to talk about it. Week number 1, we talked about building our faith, about having faith, a good faith that's a foundation. You know, it's kind of interesting. Jesus was a construction type guy. A lot of you guys here this week came in to volunteer, and you've been involved in doing some destruction and construction projects, you know, helping folks get their homes back in shape and their businesses back in shape. Well, Jesus was used to that, and he knew what it meant to rebuild. You know, God's job is actually restoration, because when we are born, we're born with a sinful nature, and it's God's desire that he would restore us back to what he originally meant us to be, so that we could have fellowship with him. And the first step in that is for him to give us a faith, something to have faith in. So he tells us to have faith in Jesus Christ. Have faith in what Jesus Christ did at the cross for us. We're getting ready to approach the Easter season. We're going to focus on the crucifixion. We're going to focus on that Passion Week. We're going to focus on what happened in the life of Christ and all of his disciples. And then we're going to focus on really the most exciting thing of all, and that's the resurrection. The actual idea that someone in human form could overcome death. It can only be God. It can only be God. You see, there have been a lot of great philosophers through the ages. There have been a lot of religious men through the ages that had great ideas, that had great messages. But there's only been one that overcame death itself and then promised us that we could do the same, that we could have this same resurrection power in our lives. And it takes faith in him to do that. So that's our foundation block, is faith. The second thing we go on to, adding to faith, is character. And then after character, we start increasing our knowledge. It's really kind of a natural process. And after we start adding knowledge, we learn some self-control. It's a Christian lifestyle. It's a lifestyle of the Christ follower. And then after that, we start learning how to be devoted how to have a commitment, how to persevere through the things that happen to us in life. And then after that, we start understanding that we can live a lifestyle of godliness. And then after godliness begins to take effect in our lives, we begin to understand what it means to love. And Peter talks about two kinds of love. He says brotherly love, and then finally the love that only God can give, an agape love. And so as we go through that process, this all came from the book of 2 Peter, the first chapter, and in verses 2 and 3 he starts this way. He says, "Grace and peace be multiplied